great with your family. So we're making chicken noodle soup, and the ingredients are cooked chicken and an onion, a couple of carrots, some celery, garlic, which is great for your immune system. We have homemade chicken broth here that we have made in our Instant Pot. This is a ½ gallon or 2 quarts. We also have our favorite egg noodles from Aldi, and these are so yummy. And then butter for our browned butter, and then salt. A little bit of pepper will come in a minute. Yeah, definitely we'll have the chicken. So let's get started. We'll show you exactly how we make this soup, and we hope that you will try to make this soup with your family. And we love to see families cook and enjoy great meals together, and that's what we do, and we hope that you will do the same. So here we go. Rachel is going to show us how we pick our chicken. These are just bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs, and that's just what we happen to have on hand. You can use any cooked diced chicken. So if you have cans of chicken, you can use that. Go ahead and just pick the meat off with your hands and then cut it up. Would that work? Yeah. Okay. So a lot of times we, as a family, we will use rotisserie chickens from Sam's or Costco because they're nice and big and inexpensive. And we'll have chicken picking parties, which are pretty fun.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
So we'll all gather around the table. We have a bone bowl. Do you want to tell them about how we do that?
So what we do with our bones is we put them in a bag, and be sure you label it, because when they're frozen and you don't have a label, you cannot tell what they are until they're thawed out and you have to open it. And so that's not good. So you just label it bones for broth, and you just put your bones in it, and you put it in your freezer, and then it can go for however long until you want to use it, and then you take it out and put it in your broth.
Yeah, so we use those frozen bones in our bone broth, and they're ready at any time, and it makes free homemade chicken broth that is so good, so delicious, and good for you, and you don't have to have any of the cans from the store. So Rachel's showing you how she's dicing up this chicken for our soup. And so when we get a rotisserie chicken or when we cook our chicken, this is exactly how we do it. If you have chicken breasts or boneless, skinless chicken thighs, those are delicious in here. Even canned chicken, whatever kind of chicken you have on hand, you're welcome to go ahead and use. So now Abigail is going to show us how we cut up an onion.
Okay, so be sure you put on a cut glove. You don't want to cut your hands. That would be bad. So you take your onion, and so what you're first going to do is you're going to cut off the stem ends.
A knife might need to be a little bit sharper.
Yeah, next time. You cut off your stem ends, and with these roots, you don't want them in your food. So you just pull those off and also put them in your trash bowl or in your trash can. And so then what you're going to do next is you're going to cut it right down the middle.
Keep those fingers curled in so you don't cut yourself.
Yes. And so you want to pick off this papery stuff, because that's gross in your food and you don't want that.
And a lot of times, like, look at this layer of onion skin. You'll see how this is darker, and you also want to go ahead and pick off that layer.
Don't be afraid to lose layers. You're going to want to.
Because that layer is it's not chewable, so you don't want to eat that.
And so then what you're going to do next is you're going to cut your onion in like
slices?
Slices, yeah, like the rays of the sun. So you want them about the same. About the same thickness.
Pause for 1 second. I want you to curl your thumb in just a little, and then if you can turn this around and show.
Yeah.
So she's not going straight down; she's going at an angle, and that allows you to just do one cut and then a cross cut to make your dices. You can go ahead and do your arching now. There you go.
Okay. And so what you're going to do now is you're going to do, like, you're going to make dices. And so what you're going to do is you're going to make, like, a locomotion. You're going to make your arm like the bars on the tires of a train, wheels of a train. And you're just going to do that until you've got your dices. And then you just throw this into the trash bowl.
Yep, and we use the ends of these onions and carrots and celery. Just like we freeze the bones, we have a separate bag for our veggie ends of the onions and carrots and celery to use in our homemade broth. And you can go to our website at thecookingfamily.com and find our homemade chicken broth recipe. It tastes so good and it's super easy and it's free to make. So, because you're making it with things that you otherwise would have thrown away. So next, Miriam is going to come and show us how to cut up a carrot.
So,
I'm going to move this knife.
She's going to put on her cut glove.
Yes.
You want to always remember that. And so
the basic ingredients in this chicken noodle soup that gives it so much flavor is called the mirepoix, and that's 3 aromatic ingredients. Okay, here she goes. She's cutting off go ahead. Sorry.
She's cutting off the ends. And so after that, she's just going to take her peeler and she's going to start peeling it.
Miriam is great at peeling carrots.
It's fun.
Yep. So the 3 ingredients that make up a basis for so much flavor, she dropped it, but it landed on the stool, are onions and carrots and celery. And you will be amazed if you've never sauteed those before at how good it makes your kitchen smell. It smells delicious, and it adds so much flavor to soups, casseroles. It's just a basic flavor combination for many foods, especially like French cooking and American cooking. If you're making a chicken pot pie, you would use onions, carrots, and celery together. If you want to make vegetable soup, those 3 are a great basis to start just about any recipe with.
Oh, and something I forgot to mention about the onion, when you're cutting the rays of the sun, you don't want to go all the way to the root. Just leave about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of room there.
And that way you still have something to hold on to.
Still have something to hold on to, and it doesn't all fall apart.
Okay, so can I help you clear out the peel? We'll put that in our trash bowl, and that will make fantastic broth later on.
So now she's just going to cut the carrot into little thin slices. You want thin so that you don't have like one huge bite of carrot and almost nothing else. So just really thin, and that way you get a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Miriam, you're doing a great job.
Yes.
Okay, so if you like what you're seeing here and you want to learn how to use your Instant Pot, we have created a course just for you. It's called Fearless Newbie, and so if you will go to fearlessnewbie.com and use the coupon code LIVE, you can receive $20 off of our course that we've made, which will help you learn how to cook great meals in your Instant Pot, learn how to use your Instant Pot to its full capacity. In our house, we often use our Instant Pot several times a day, not exaggerating. Last week, I came in here and the kids we were preparing to go out of town, so we were kind of pre-cooking, prepping for the weekend, right?
Yeah.
And when I walked in, there were 5 Instant Pots lined up on the counter. Okay, 4 Instant Pots and a rice cooker, all lined up on the counter.
They were all
cooking.
used.
One had beans in it, dried beans. Another had chicken broth. One had chicken that was cooking. And one had chili for our weekend away. And then the rice cooker was cooking rice. So again, if you want to learn how to use your Instant Pot, go to fearlessnewbie.com and use the coupon code LIVE to get $20 off.
Yeah. You're doing a great job.
Yes. Miriam's very diligent.
Watch your fingers.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on our Instant Pot so it can begin sauteing. And I'm just gonna press the saute button, and that's gonna heat up the Instant Pot so we can saute these veggies. All right, so Miriam, if you can go ahead and put those carrots, that's all right, in this bowl. You've done a wonderful job, honey. And next, Mr. Elijah is gonna come and he's gonna show us how to cut up some celery. There you go. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you. Okay. So how many stacks am I doing?
You are doing, so ultimately we want 1.5 cups of each of these veggies. So we're gonna do 2 stalks of celery because these are pretty big stalks.
Yeah.
If you have short stalks, then you might do 3, maybe even 4. But your goal is about 1.5 cups. Not critical as far as the exact amount.
So these have already been washed, but if they haven't, you do want to wash it because I have been amazed to find lots of dirt on them if you don't wash them.
Yeah, the dirt
And
likes to hide way down in here.
Wash them. And so you just cut off the ends because they are dry, and if you want, you can use the celery leaves, but
they add a lot of flavor, but they'll add flavor to our broth too.
Mm-hmm. So then you're just gonna cut down the middle of your celery, and sometimes it gets off, but that's okay.
So we cut down the middle so that our pieces of celery are not huge. They seem more palatable and maybe a little less recognizable if they are cut in a little smaller pieces, so that people who might be less likely to want to eat celery won't have to look at those big old pieces.
And you also want to do very thin slices, so the carrots, the celery is not overpowering all the rest.
Yeah. You're doing a great job, Elijah. So celery is such a great vegetable. It is full of fiber, full of nutrients, and a lot of water actually. So it's like, it's almost like negative calories when you eat it, but it adds a lot of depth of flavor to your food. So even if you're not likely to just eat carrot sticks, you might find that you enjoy the flavor that it adds to your food. And we love the flavor of it in our broth. Okay, so when you get to the end and you just have 1 or 2 little pieces, then you just start chopping each individual one. Another great thing about celery right now this particular week is that you can actually find it in stores. When I went to my local grocery store yesterday, I was able to find tons of celery. And tons of carrots as well. And you may not be able to find other things, frozen vegetables and pre-prepared convenience items, but if you're willing to grab your knife and do a little extra work chopping, then you can feed yourself and your family really well. You don't need those boxes and cans and jazz.
Yep.
Okay, so now Miss Hannah, Elijah, you did a great job. Thank you so much. Hannah's going to come over and show us how we do garlic, and this is a really fun one, isn't it, Hannah? Mm-hmm. I'm going to put away this knife.
Good job.
Okay. Here is our garlic. So for this recipe, we're just doing about 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, and you're going to want to peel that big old paper off of there. 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, but garlic is fantastic for your immune system. It has a lot of antiviral properties, antifungal, and it really boosts up your immune system. So if you're a garlic lover, feel free to put tons in there. Yeah. Some soups we put 8
Like,
or 10 garlic
Yeah.
cloves. So this whole thing is the bulb of garlic. We're going to help her out with this because it's several layers of paper.
Oh,
And just pull off a couple of those little cloves. So this is a little clove of garlic. And it's wrapped in paper. And that paper, they're kind of flying everywhere. Those are kind of hard to break, and it makes your peeling those much easier if you will hit that with, okay. We ended up having them a little small, so we are going to go ahead and do 4. You're going to want to whack it. I'm going to help Hannah whack it so it breaks that paper. Don't put your hand under. And there we go. Here's the 4th one. And look, see how it breaks the paper? That helps the paper just pull right off. And then Hannah's going to chop it with a little chopper. Abigail, tell them about that chopper.
Oh, yeah. So this is just a chopper. And there's like a knob, would you call it? Or
Yeah.
some button.
Mainly what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
It's just that it lets little children have an opportunity
not
to help in the kitchen.
Have big knives.
Right.
Yeah.
And it gives them something really pretty enjoyable to do in the kitchen. I'm trying to peel this last one. What? You can say it.
And the garlic is terribly sticky.
It's really shockingly sticky. Until you peel fresh garlic, you don't realize how sticky it is. Yeah. If you can't find garlic, fresh garlic, then you can use any form of garlic. You can use the canned garlic. You can use the frozen. There's frozen garlic, garlic powder. Okay. So there you go. And you're going to just have to whack it, right? Thank you, Abigail.
You're welcome.
Okay, you think we got it? Let's check. Okay, that's good. And so there's our chopped up garlic. How old are you, Hannah?
6.
That a 6-year-old can help with in the kitchen. And so then this bottom part comes off. I'm going to move that out of the way.
Why?
Why?
So you can get all the good garlic out of there.
Yes, since the garlic is so sticky, you can take your finger and just swipe that there. And then we'll put our garlic in this little bowl, huh? You going to help? So Hannah's going to put the garlic in this little pinch bowl. These pinch bowls are so great for kids. They allow them to hold on to it. It's less likely to roll around and it can't break because it's just rubber and really flexible. We get these on Amazon, and they're a great helpful thing in the kitchen.
I'll have to wash my hands after I touch this.
You will have to wash those hands. Yep, and you want to get as many of those little yummy garlic pieces.
They flavor up your soup. It makes them
They're so good.
Yummy.
Okay, so we've got the garlic ready. Everything seems to be close to ready.
Okay.
This should be nice and hot. So thank you, Miss Hannah. And next, Lydia's going to come and help us put this all together.
Yeah.
So I usually am the kind of cook who just chops everything while I've got other things going, so it can get a little intense, but I don't always get all the ingredients completely ready like this before I start. Can you hand me that chicken, Miss Abigail? But with this recipe, it's kind of particular because the Instant Pot is so fast, and we don't want to burn anything. And I'm looking for my little butter knife that I had. Do you see that? I'll just use this knife. Okay, so we're going to brown the butter, and we're going to use about 3 tablespoons. If you're feeling generous, you can use a whole entire half stick of butter. Well, I'm going to let that fall right in. You can take that and put it over to the side over there. And we're going to let this butter melt. And this is a really important step for flavor. Is this still on? Yes, it says it's hot. Now, I just noticed this Instant Pot is on less, and we kind of want it to be on more because it's going really slow here. So I'm going to cancel the whole thing. Just shut it off. And then I'm going to press saute again. And then you can press cycle through, If you just cycle through this saute button, you can see where it says less, normal, more. That's kind of like low, medium, high. And I'm going to turn it up to more for now and get it heating up because we're trying to brown the butter. That's right. So you're going to want to come and look inside here. And the butter is melting because it was already preheated. Lydia's going to help us stir. And we're just going to wait for that butter to really melt. We would love it if you would share this with your friends and any groups that you might be a part of who would benefit from watching this. Our vision as a family, the cooking family, is to see other families cooking and enjoying great meals together. We think it's really important for families, and it just brings so much joy to our house to cook together and spend that quality time as a family. We just want to encourage other people to do that too. So if you have friends that would benefit from watching this, we hope you will share this video with them right now. There's a share button. Go ahead and press that share button down on your, however you're watching this. Is it good? It's going to be hot. Okay, so the butter is starting to bubble, and you're going to want to watch this really closely. So we're adding a lot of flavor by letting the butter brown a little bit. So it's going to, the first stage is it starts to bubble, and then it's going to start to turn a little bit brown.
But it's going to happen quick.
It is going to happen quick. That's so right. Yes, you don't want it to burn. Don't put that in yet, my dear girl. Okay, and it kind of foams up. If you see, can you see the foam on there? It foams up, so you're going to let it foam up, and then the foam is going to subside, and that's when it's going to really start browning. You can even hear it kind of sizzling as there is a little bit of water content in butter. It's like almost milky, and you kind of want that, or you do want that to evaporate off, and you see it foaming, and you can even hear it foaming. And we're just going to wait a minute and let that brown up just a little, and that's going to add a huge amount of flavor to our food.
Butter is a favorite ingredient around here.
Yes, we love butter. Okay, look here at how it's totally foam covered.
Oh yeah,
it's totally foam covered.
Not yet. That comes later.
Not yet. Okay, and I'm seeing a little bit of browning deep down in this pan. And as soon as this foam kind of subsides, we're going to add in the onion. And actually, we're going to add the onion and the carrot and the celery. Okay, look at this. Okay, can you see how that butter is kind of a caramely color?
Yeah.
Okay, so once that happens, then you're going to add in your onion. I'm just going to dump it in. There it goes. And then we're going to add the carrot. Dump that in. You want to get it?
Can you pour that in?
Now we're going to pour in the celery. There it goes. Wait on the garlic. Wait on the garlic. We're going to saute this for about 1 minute. And here we had a little bit that was already pre-chopped.
Okay.
So you can see that's a lot of veggies, which are great and really nutritious. Very nutritious for your family. Keep them healthy during this time especially. And in the words of Alton Brown, you're going to want to salt your aromatics. So these aromatic veggies have so much wonderful flavor, and we're going to go ahead and salt those we're going to start with 1 teaspoon of salt. So the chicken broth that we make, we don't salt it. We don't salt the chicken broth ahead of time because sometimes we use salty ingredients like smoked sausage.
Don't want to make the food too salty.
We don't want to make the food too salty. So we wait until we're actually cooking up the dish before we add salt.
Then we can taste it and then add what is needed.
That's right. Taste it and add what's needed. So a lot of times if you find food to be kind of bland, all you need is a little bit more salt.
Helps a
Especially when you're cooking from scratch and the things are not already pre-salted. Okay, so you can see these veggies starting to just release some water, and they're getting kind of shiny. They've been in here for about a minute. Lydia, I'm going to help you give it a good stir. And we can go ahead now. These are not fully sauteed. So if you are cooking this and you don't have an Instant Pot, first of all, go ahead and get one. It's worth it. But if you're not and you're just doing this on the stovetop, you want to saute these for 5 to 10 minutes at least until your carrots are tender. But because we're cooking in a pressure cooker, and the pressure cooker is going to take care of cooking these all the way through, we're going to go ahead and just barely saute these. Don't take a bite because it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
Now it's time to add the garlic after we cook these for about a minute.
And the garlic cooks fast.
All of it come in. The
for a
garlic
short
cooks
time,
fast.
so-
That's right. And Lydia's going to help stir that in. Just want to cook your garlic for about 1 minute.
And then add in the chicken.
Then you think we're going to add the chicken next? Okay. You are so right. So we're, oh, actually, wait. Okay. In the Instant Pot, I like to add any pasta before the meat. That way the meat can kind of weigh down the pasta and there won't be pieces of pasta sticking up and not being cooked. So these are our egg noodles. We love these because they stay kind of firm and they don't get mushy even for leftovers. So the rule of thumb for how long to cook your noodle soup is to look on the back of the bag.
In an
Find-
Instant Pot.
Yes, and that's
'Cause
right,
on
exactly.
a stove, you want to follow it exactly.
Yes. So this says 12 to 14 minutes, and so we're going to cut that time in half.
The lowest.
Yeah, the lowest time to half. So what would that be?
6.
6 minutes. If it says 12, we're going to cut it in half to do 6. And if it's an odd number and you have to, then you should.
If it's like 14 or something and the cut in half is 7, then you want to just lower, or wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, if it said 13 and half of that
Oh
is
yeah, half of that
6
is
and a
like
half.
6. Yeah, then you want to go ahead and do the lowest.
the
like
lowest.
5.
Yeah, 6 minutes.
Yeah, 6.
Okay, so we use half of this bag. If you like your noodle soup more like a thick casserole of noodles, then you can use the whole bag, but we prefer it to really be more soupy. And so we found that about a half of this bag, about a half a pound, is just about right for us. Now we'll put the chicken on.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. And the chicken is going to weigh down those noodles. You don't even have to fully stir it up. And now we're going to add in the broth. I did forget a step though. I forgot to deglaze. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything browning on the bottom of my pan. But if you have little browned bits browning up on the bottom of your pan, then you are going to want to scrape the bottom of your Instant Pot, because those brown bits can cause your Instant Pot to give you the burn notice, which you do not want, and it will prevent your food from coming up to pressure, because
And
it's a
you
safety
wanna-
feature of the Instant
Don't
Pot.
you put like broth or water down
Yes.
in it to deglaze it?
So what I really should have done was go ahead and put just a little bit of the broth in, scrape the bottom of the pan, and then add the rest of the broth. But there was nothing browning on the bottom because there was so much of the liquid from the veggies. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and close this up. We've added all of our ingredients.
Make sure
And
your noodles are
what?
all covered up with water.
My noodles are all covered up, no problems.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and close up the Instant Pot. And we're going to set it to cook. So what you're going to do is press cancel. And then we are going to press soup or broth. And we're going to change the time by pressing the plus button. And we're going to do 6 minutes. And then we're going to just wait. And this is going to go ahead and start on its own. Oh, no. Okay, pause. It said low pressure. I want it on high pressure. So you just adjust that by pressing the pressure level button. So now it's going to go ahead and start heating up. And then the Instant Pot will come up to pressure. And if you'll also, don't forget to set your float valve on sealing. Otherwise, it will just be releasing steam. So if you find your Instant Pot just steaming and steaming and steaming, double check this float valve and make sure that you have allowed it to be closed so it can build up steam in there. And then in a little bit, we're going to come back and we'll open it up and give it a taste. So we hope you'll join us in a few minutes, probably 15 to 20 minutes or so. So don't forget to go to thecookingfamily.com. We've got the recipe for this soup and many others on there. That's at thecookingfamily.com. And then if you'll go to fearlessnewbie.com, you can find our cooking course and use the coupon code LIVE to get a $20 off of that course, which will help you use your Instant Pot. And we hope that you and your family will cook and enjoy great meals together, especially this week while you have lots of time at home together.